that Megan Twohey sort of edited. So not only, Chris, did they compile a massive article with all the text and all the research, they went and edited a video as well, all within like 24 hours, which seems incredibly
and other
unrealistic.
documents that we've obtained reveal what really happened. A campaign to tarnish Lively after she alleged that Justin Baldoni, her co-star and director, and Jamie Heath, the producer, had engaged in misconduct while shooting the film.
Now, again, keyword there, the alleged smear campaign, but listen to what Megan herself, the author, says.
In a legal complaint Lively filed on Friday, private text messages and other documents that we've obtained reveal what really happened.
So right there, Chris, that's not an opinion. That's not a maybe. That's not a what really happened. Now, is that going to be problematic for them?
Before jumping into the video, let's make a quick poll to see who has a stronger following. If you're Team Lively, dislike the video, and if you're Team Justin Baldoni, subscribe. All right, ladies and gents, buckle up because today we're diving into the drama-filled world of Hollywood lawsuits, shady journalism, and some serious tea being spilled. Justin Baldoni, the dude from 5 Feet Apart and Jane the Virgin, is going head-to-head with the New York Times in a legal battle that's got more twists than a Netflix thriller. And let me tell you, this ain't just some boring court case. It's a full-blown showdown that could change how we see media, defamation, and Hollywood power plays. So grab your popcorn, because we're breaking it all down. Let's start with the juicy stuff. Baldoni's team is straight up accusing the New York Times of colluding with Blake Lively, yeah, that Blake Lively, and her squad to publish a hit piece on him. According to Baldoni, the Times had months to prepare this article, but when it came time to give him a chance to respond, they gave him like a few hours. Like, hey, we're dropping this bomb tomorrow at noon, so if you want to say something, better hurry up. Not cool, right? This whole thing feels like a classic case of let's bury this guy before he even knows what hit him. Baldoni's lawyers are saying the Times wasn't just reporting the news. They were actively working with Lively's team to craft a narrative that makes Baldoni look like the bad guy. And if that's true, that's some next-level shady behavior. But let's break it down even further. The article in question was published on December 21st, 2023, and it was accompanied by a video featuring Megan Twohey, one of the Times' star investigative journalists. In the video, Twohey claims that the Times reviewed thousands of pages of documents and concluded that Baldoni and his team had orchestrated a smear campaign against Lively. But here's the kicker. Baldoni's team says the Times only reached out to them the night before the article was published, giving them less than 24 hours to respond. And when they did provide some information, the Times went ahead and published the article before they could even finish their response. This timeline is crucial because it raises serious questions about the Times' journalistic integrity. If they had months to prepare the article, why did they only give Baldoni a few hours to respond? And why did they publish the article before they had all the facts? Baldoni's team is arguing that this wasn't just sloppy journalism. It was a deliberate attempt to smear Baldoni and his company, Wayfarer Studios. Now here's where it gets spicy. The New York Times didn't just publish an article, they dropped a whole video to go with it. In this video, investigative journalist Megan Twohey, you might know her from her work on the Me Too movement, claims she reviewed thousands of pages of documents and basically said, "Yup, everything Blake Lively is saying? It's legit." But Baldoni's team is like, hold up. Hold up. They're arguing that the Times didn't just report on the facts, they vouched for them. Like, they didn't say, hey, this is what Blake Lively is claiming. Nah, they said, we investigated, and this is what really happened. That's a big difference, especially when you're talking about defamation. And let's not forget, the article's title was The Making of a Hollywood Smear Machine. Like, come on, that's not just reporting. That's straight up taking a side. Baldoni's team is saying the Times crossed the line from journalism into advocacy, and that's where the trouble starts. But let's dig deeper into the video. In the video, Twohey claims that the Times reviewed thousands of pages of documents, including text messages and emails, that allegedly show Baldoni and his team orchestrating a smear campaign against Lively. But here's the thing. Baldoni's team is questioning the authenticity of these documents. They're saying that the Times didn't properly verify the documents, and that some of them may have been edited or taken out of context. This is a big deal because if the documents were manipulated or taken out of context, that could seriously undermine the Times' staff credibility. And if Baldoni's team can prove that the Times knowingly published false information, that could be a game changer in the case. So the New York Times filed a motion to dismiss the case, basically saying, even if everything Baldoni is saying is true, it doesn't matter because we're protected by the First Amendment. But Baldoni's team isn't having it. They filed a response that's like, oh, hell no, you don't get to hide behind the First Amendment when you're out here spreading lies. Their argument is that the Times didn't just report on a filed complaint. They went way beyond that. They conducted their own investigation, edited videos, and presented the allegations as verified facts. And according to Baldoni's lawyers, that's a big no-no. If you're going to report on something, you got to stick to the facts, not add your own spin. But let's break it down even further. The Times is relying on something called the fair reporting privilege, which protects journalists when they report on official proceedings, like court cases or government investigations. But Baldoni's team is arguing that the Times forfeited that privilege by going beyond just reporting on the complaint. They're saying the Times didn't just report on the facts, they vouched for them, which is a big no-no. This is a crucial point, because if the court agrees with Baldoni's team, the Times could lose their First Amendment protection, and the case could move forward to discovery and possibly a trial. Here's where things get legal, but I'll break it down. The fair reporting privilege is like a shield for journalists. It protects them when they report on official proceedings, like court cases or government investigations. But here's the catch. You can't go beyond just reporting. If you start adding your own commentary or vouching for the truth of the allegations, you lose that protection. Baldoni's team is saying the Times did exactly that. They didn't just report on the complaint. They said, we looked into it, and this is what really happened. That's not fair reporting, that's taking sides. And if the court agrees, the Times could be in some serious trouble. But let's dig deeper into this. The fair reporting privilege is designed to protect journalists when they report on official proceedings like court cases or government investigations. But it's not a free pass to say whatever you want. If a journalist goes beyond just reporting on the facts and starts adding their own commentary or vouching for the truth of the allegations, they can lose that protection. In this case, Baldoni's team is arguing that the Times didn't just report on the complaint. They conducted their own investigation and presented the allegations as verified facts, and according to Baldoni's lawyers, that's a big no-no. If you're going to report on something, you got to stick to the facts, not add your own spin. Now, let's talk about actual malice. No, not the kind of malice where you're just being a jerk. This is a legal term. In defamation cases involving public figures, like Baldoni, the plaintiff has to prove that the defendant acted with actual malice, meaning they knew the information was false or acted with reckless disregard for the truth. Baldoni's team is arguing that the Times did exactly that. They're saying the Times had access to documents that disproved the allegations but chose to ignore them. They're also claiming the Times edited and spliced documents to mislead viewers. If that's true, that's not just bad journalism, that's straight up malicious. But let's break it down even further. Actual malice is a high bar to clear, especially when you're dealing with a public figure like Baldoni. But if Baldoni's team can prove that the Times knew the information was false or acted with reckless disregard for the truth, that could be a game changer. This is where the discovery process comes in. If the case moves forward to discovery, Baldoni's team will have the opportunity to dig into the Times' internal documents and communications to see if they can find evidence of actual malice. And if they can, that could seriously undermine the Times' defense. Here's another twist. The case is being fought in New York, but Baldoni's team is arguing that California law should apply. Why? Because Baldoni and his company are based in California, and that's where the alleged harm happened. Plus, California law is more favorable to plaintiffs in defamation cases. It recognizes claims for false light and other damages that New York law doesn't. The Times, of course, wants New York law to apply because it's more protective of journalists. So, this whole choice of law issue could be a game changer. If the court decides California law applies, Baldoni's chances of winning go way up. But let's break it down even further. The choice of law issue is a big deal because it could determine the outcome of the case. If California law applies, Baldoni's team will have a stronger case because California law recognizes claims for false light and other damages that New York law doesn't. But if New York law applies, the Times will have a stronger defense because New York law is more protective of journalists. This is a crucial point because it could determine the outcome of the case. If the court decides California law applies, Baldoni's team will have a stronger case. But if New York law applies, the Times will have a stronger defense. Baldoni's team is pushing hard for this case to go to discovery and a jury trial. Discovery is where both sides get to dig into each other's dirt, and a jury trial means regular folks get to decide who's telling the truth. And let's be real, a jury trial is where things could get really interesting. Imagine a bunch of New Yorkers sitting in a courtroom, listening to all the evidence, and deciding whether the New Yorks and the New York Times crossed the line. That's some real-life drama right there. And if Baldoni's team can prove that the Times acted with malice, this could be a huge win for him. But let's break it down even further. The discovery process is where both sides get to dig into each other's internal documents and communications. This is where Baldoni's team will have the opportunity to find evidence of actual malice, like emails or internal memos that show the Times knew the information was false or acted with reckless disregard for the truth. And if the case goes to a jury trial, that's where things could get really interesting. A jury trial means regular folks get to decide who's telling the truth, and that could be a game changer. If Baldoni's team can convince the jury that the Times acted with malice, that could be a huge win for him. So, what's gonna happen? Well, the judge has a few options. They could deny the motion to dismiss, which means the case moves forward to discovery and possibly a trial. Or they could grant the motion but allow Baldoni to amend his complaint, meaning he gets another shot to make his case. Either way, this case is far from over. And depending on how it plays out, it could have some serious implications for how journalists report on sensitive issues, especially in Hollywood. But let's break it down even further. If the judge denies the motion to dismiss, the case will move forward to discovery and possibly a trial. This is where things could get really interesting because both sides will have the opportunity to dig into each other's internal documents and communications. And if the case goes to trial, that's where things could get really interesting. A jury trial means regular folks get to decide who's telling the truth. And that could be a game changer. If Baldoni's team can convince the jury that the Times acted with malice, that could be a huge win for him. All right, let's zoom out for a second. This case isn't just about Justin Baldoni and the New York Times. It's about the power dynamics in Hollywood, the role of the media, and how far journalists can go before they cross the line. On one hand, we've got the First Amendment, which protects freedom of the press. That's super important because without it, powerful people could silence journalists and cover up the truth. But on the other hand, we've got the responsibility of journalists to report the truth, not just spin a narrative to fit their agenda. This case is forcing us to ask some tough questions. Where's the line between reporting and advocacy? How much responsibility do journalists have to get both sides of the story? And what happens when the media becomes a weapon in Hollywood's endless power struggles? So, who's gonna come out on top? Honestly, it's hard to say. Defamation cases are notoriously difficult to win, especially when they involve public figures and big media outlets like the New York Times. But Baldoni's team has put together a pretty compelling case, and if they can prove that the Times acted with malice, they've got a real shot. At the end of the day, this case is about more than just Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. It's about accountability, transparency, and the role of the media in our society. And no matter how it ends, it's going to have some serious ripple effects. All right, that's it for now, but we'll be keeping an eye on this case as it unfolds. If you're as hooked on this drama as we are, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any updates. And drop a comment below. What do you think? Is the New York Times in the wrong, or is Baldoni just trying to save face? Let's hear your thoughts. Until next time, stay curious, stay woke, and keep questioning everything. Peace out.